At most, one more game behind this. But welcome back to the Acer Team Story Cup Season 3. In this best of 9, we come ever closer to conclusion. Spawning here in the top right corner of the map, though, for the first time today, we see the blue Terran player from Axiom Esports. Give it up for Hearts!
In the bottom position, as the red Zerg, it is Starbuck.
I don't think we're going to see that Roach attack again. I feel like that's a once in a lifetime. You pull it out once, you surprise someone with it, never again. And while it wasn't Heart that he killed earlier with it, but Ryung, it's something that was witnessed, and Heart's going to be very, very aware that it's potentially going to happen again.
Yeah, I think so. Actually scouting with the Reaper. Although, as I say that, okay, no. I was worried he's going to go for 14 CC, but it's not quite that time yet.
I was kind of hoping, if we're going to be honest, we were going to see a 2-Rax. It sounds silly to say, but none of the Axiom guys really cheese that often. I mean, Alicia was kind of the closest we saw it today, but I think the power of the 2-Rax can never be underestimated. The best player against, like, the best Terran against the best Zerg player, 2-Rax can still work as the thing. Freaking Starbuck and these Kappas. This guy's been hanging out with Nathanius for too long.
Heart. I think Heart is a good choice, not just because of, what was a solid showing yesterday, but more so because, like, the hype for him, like, the feeling of being good, of being God right now is probably pretty high. So he's probably, feeling pretty confident. He certainly seemed confident when he was just ready and ready to go in the lobby, just like go, go, go.
It's silly to phrase it like that sometimes, but in this instance, I'd say that's the case. I mean, Heart's always been a really positive guy. I don't think I've ever known him not to smile when I say, "Hey, Heart, how's it going?" type thing. And that sounds a little silly and like hippie-ish and whatever, guys, but the reality is, confidence brings a lot in StarCraft 2. There's no tentativeness. There's so many times where you'll watch a player kind of start an engagement and back away, then continue follow through with it, not sure which direction to take your medevacs, the ultralisks, what have you. For Heart to come into this, if he is feeling confident, and he rightfully should be, I mean, let's be honest, yesterday, getting through WCS, that group was not an easy group. I think he could carry that well here to take on Starbuck, who is, again, a different caliber of player, but still a very formidable opponent nonetheless.
Mm-hmm. This is annoying.
Yep.
This is, I can't believe that more players don't do this. One, just try and keep the drone or a probe hidden behind the mineral line and then come back when the Reaper's on your side of the map and kill the SCV. Super annoying. Or just cancel, like build cancel, especially in the main too, because you don't want to keep your Reaper back to deal with that.
You know, be like really dirty for a Terran player, but like super duper all in cheese. Ooh, actually, hang on, never mind. My jokes aside, it's worth noting no gas was taken at all, so speed's gonna be so far out, which means these Reapers. Well, actually, he's only gone for the one. Shoot, this is the one game you really want to go 3 Reapers on.
Yeah, unfortunately, he didn't.
I know he is actually going for 2 Marines at home. I know that you've talked about this a lot. With the second Reaper not being here to defend, these Toolings did sneak past across the map, and the goal of these two is just to kill the SCV at most, and they probably will, stalling out the command center just a little bit. Oh, the Marines actually go for the Overlord.
Yeah, that was a bit of a mistake. He saves the SCV. Yeah, he will save the SCV, but he did lose a little bit of time. If you guys don't know the woes of Terran, if the command center is delayed at all, you're supply blocked at a crucial moment. It's rather infuriating.
That's actually a big deal, yeah, because if this had completed on time, we'd see Helene straight up right away. You can't really afford to throw in an extra depot this early to keep your production going the way it is. It's frustrating for sure.
Finally on supply blocked. It's going to be a starport. It was, that's why I tried to get the Marines over there to already kill the Overlord pretty quickly, because now the Overlord in this position, it can duck in and probably still survive by getting back out and see everything it needs to see, even if the Marines are ready and waiting for it.
Back home for Starbuck, not exactly spinning his way to a 3rd base. Again, if those of you missed it, we had a show match just the other night here on this map in particular with Impact versus Journey, and in that particular TVZ, I really like the way Journey played out with expansions. Merry-Go-Round's been a very weird map as far as expansions go, and I think a lot of it's been coming down to more player preference than statistical bests, but the one thing that Journey did that I thought was really fantastic was, as a Terran player, expanded towards his Zerg opponent, so he can not only defend his 1/3, but also be in position to go for a counterattack at the same time, or at the vice versa, if you're going for the attack, you actually fall back into defending the third. I mean, it was a subtle thing, but it's something we really don't see a lot of people do. And we'll see if Hart decides to play that style out or not, because I don't know, expanding towards that pocket base is always nice to begin with. But on the same token, ooh, actually run some aliens right past Starbuck's Queens. I don't know what they were doing. They're on coffee break or something, but that's going to cost them a couple drones. More than a couple drones. Oh my goodness. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Hart! 11 workers killed. And he gets at least two of the Hellions out alive.
Yeah, that shouldn't have happened. Unfortunate for Starbuck. It's Hart. I think this build is not just a good build because you have the Banshee to do maybe additional harassment should they under-prepare for it, which Starbuck is not. He scouted. He's getting his 4 colors and whatnot. But also you get good scouting information. You know, that's kind of a free scout if you has Cloak. But most importantly, on a map where they always are going Roaches and Roach Hydra, some people Roach Attack, having a Banshee is like the best thing you can do. And he did see the Roach Warren and the front.
It's sad they didn't go for Cloak on it, but at the same time, it's a nice cost-effective way to do this because now he's going to have that stim out sooner, he'll have medevacs out, 1 extra medevac for the cost of the Cloak type thing. But yeah, Hart's just looking at the third. I don't think he's going to be dipping into the main. Granted, you can kill a Queen, but oh, Starbuck.
Oh, wow. Okay, so he's still on 2 base. Now,
I don't think it's going to work.
I don't think so either.
If Hart didn't build the depot here, this is a very common place. Same over here at the natural, but this Overlord's going to get picked off. Wait. Okay, this Overlord's going to get picked off. If anything, this might just be a forward reinforcement Nidus Worm, but I don't think this is going to be the in-base cheese, I win, Nidus Worm.
Good. Yes. Thank you. I don't think so either. I mean, he might try it once, but then after that, he'll just
go
straight for the main.
He can't. There's no vision.
Yeah, you're right.
Lost
okay,
all the Overlords.
Actually, now, yeah, the Viking was a good move to hold that off.
Oh, I canceled it.
But you know that Banshee, it's as I said, it's a good scout. It goes across the map. Yeah, I won't be here to defend against the Roaches, but oh, never mind. It is. The Viking is the one that's going across the map. But if he sees that the third is so late, he's gonna be thinking like, okay, this is this map. This is a merry-go-round. You're going to do some type of Roach attack. You're probably going to Roach Hydra anyways. So let me just start my tank production. Be pretty safe with an extra bunker that'll probably hold off most things. I did cancel that Nidus Worm.
I like the fact that he canceled it too. I was kind of waiting for you to finish. I kind of showed on stream, but if the Overlord hadn't died, I don't think you would have canceled it. But that would have been a lot of gas sunk into something he would have never been able to really use. It also totally sucks too that you can't cancel Nidus Worms like in progress. So that's 100 that you'll lose per worm that you try and place down at the same time. So I mean, honestly, if he had let that complete, that would have just been a big hole in his pocket burning over time.
A frontal Nidus, like, it's like it's arguable if it's worth it because Roaches aren't necessarily that slow with the speed anyways. You can just go across them out.
This Banshee gonna go down. A little bit sad to see.
It would have been helpful, maybe.
Oh.
Maybe.
You know what, though? This is one of the problems with Roach Hydra guys that we're going to see here in a moment's time, where you don't have the Mutalisk out to stop drops. And these units together, they're, granted, fairly quick, but not fast enough to exactly respond to a main drop the same way Banelings and Speedlings will. So this first drop, I don't think is going to do anything close to ending the game. In fact, Hydras may spawn and deal with it. But as the game goes on, these openings are going to be more and more relevant compared to the other composition, where there's Mutalisk flying around, constantly picking off medevacs, Banelings stopping drops before they get going type thing. And how did Hart scout that Nidus? What did he get in there to scout that Nidus? I don't know. But it's still on his vision. I was just checking to see if he saw the Hydra list in. It's probably like a scan or something.
It might have been a scan, that's right.
So Starbuck sees this attack coming in the main, but he actually can't do anything about it because the Roach is on the right side trying to clean up that drop at the same time. So, I mean, he chases off the drones. He's probably not going to get too much here, but this is where the dynamics of this matchup become a little bit rough. You mentioned, if you guys were listening to Zombie Girl before, a big part of this is Roach Hydra is becoming more and more common on this map. A lot of this plays into the way the bases are laid out, combined with the fact that you can spread creep fairly easy, and it's not that large of a map, making Roach Hydra more viable. But while right now it's going to be almost impossible to drop bases, as Starbuck continues to expand later on, that's where the strength of Hart will come in. But at the same token for Hart, you can't rely just on marine tanks. Quite frankly, we're seeing a lot more success with heavier medevac counts than we are with anything else at dealing with these Roach Hydra pushes, especially when Vipers and Blinding Clouds come into the mix.
Yeah, a high medevac count is what people usually tell you deals very effectively against Roach Hydra. So I'm surprised that Axiom Heart is like skimping a little bit on it. Now, what's really worrying though is that Starbuck. I mean, usually when you do these Roach Hydra attacks, you start off with a simple Roach attack that's like 10 to even the 20 Roach attacks. Well, he's actually attacking before the tanks are sieged on creep, so maybe this is a mistake by Heart. Never mind.
Yeah, it does a little bit of damage here on the front lines. Still holding strong. Drop in the main did get killed behind this, which kind of sucks. That would have been the real powerhouse of this attack, of course, but unfortunately, Starbuck forced to disengage. He is worth noting, guys, on 2-2 upgrades, and he's got a massive supply lead at the moment. So for Hart, he's got to be careful he doesn't start dipping too far into this, because his own 2-2 is quite some time out.
Yeah, so I was going to talk about how there's a 2-2 timing with Roach Hydra that you almost always want to hit when you're like almost maxed out. That's very, very powerful. And usually the Terran player, they're defensive up until that point. Up until they have their own 2-2, they have bunkers and tanks, and they're just taking out their third. This is a little risky, but he's making it work.
I mean, this is so... He's going to get flanked here, as we see. And that's where the tanks really
anymore.
start struggling. But the Roaches are not going to be able to deal with the Marauders, and the Marines are holding up pretty well. The Hydros count, though, it might just be enough to hold this, but here come the reinforcement waves from Hart, hitting now Starbuck from behind. A pincer move into a pincer move.
I don't think Hart should not do this. This is, I mean, Starbuck really, he's on 3 bases instead of 4, but it's not that bad of an economy. Look at the supply right now. He's up by 50 supply. I think going on the creep like that was way too bold.
Yeah. I mean, he cleaned a lot of it up, granted, but now we find him with no defenses really at home. Commander is forced to lift temporarily. This isn't going to be dead anytime soon. Yeah, he'll drive this back. But it's if he had his own 2-2, that fight would have gone so differently.
Yeah, I think, you know, he's not out of it yet. He can defend on 3 bases again, just like as he was supposed to. I don't want to say supposed to, but I think it would have been better off. But now the problem is that Starbuck is in an okay position to go ahead and tech up to Hydralisk, or Vipers rather, whereas usually they did the attack, you defend, and then you immediately counterattack with a very good 2-2 force right before Vipers come out. Or Infestors in this case, actually. Both, maybe. It's not going to happen now.
Well, this fight's not going to go well for Hart on the bottom side. The reinforcements might be enough to push this back, but SCV's been pulled into the fray. It's never a good sign.
Yeah, I would love to have seen some bunkers. I think Hart was really expecting him not to have a lot because of the Nidus Swarm, but honestly, the Nidus Swarm was not a lot of investment. I don't know, it's an investment. You don't even to cancel it, but it's just like it looks like Hart expected him to have such a drastically lower army than usual with Roach Hydra, but it wasn't that low, much lower.
Well, 3-3 on the way here for Hart. This will be the one small advantage if he can get towards it. But the problem with Hydralisk, just innately, guys, is they've got... I've said it before, I'll say it again, there's no real easy counter to Hydralisk other than being able to match them and outmatch them in units, like physical count, not some sort of tech, not getting Hellions, although Blue Flame Hellions are always a tasty thing to consider, being that they're light units. But the one thing that makes this so scary now is these Infestors. Fungal growths are going to be a real problem for Hart.
Yeah. I think what Hart should be trying to do right now, it's always like a risky move, but just dropping everywhere. He has one drop set up. He's going to try and do something, but, you know, honestly, like, really forcing Starbuck with some type of, you know, pseudo doom drop is what he needs, because Starbuck is preparing a really powerful attack with Funkles. I think he actually did get some Vipers. Was I wrong? No, he got some Vipers as well.
He's on 5 bases as well. One thing that's very scary to consider for Hart, who has been struggling to hold on to his third, of course.
Yeah, if he can survive this attack very, very well, and we have seen this attack fail just because, you know, the Zerg messes up, honestly.
I like the spread out of the tanks. I really like the spread on the tanks.
All the Blinding Clouds are coming in, though, and he has enough to cover every tank position. Yep.
Will the bio hold is going to be the biggest question. There's that drop you're talking about over here on the left side, so some drones go down. The hatchery may fall as well, but Hart has got to hold on at home, and he's going to bleed out everything he has. There's just simply not enough. He's going to have to lift off this command center, have to pull back the SCVs, lest he lose all of this, which he cannot afford to do.
Oh, man, he's going to lose his third.
No.
He's going to lose it. He's trying to repair, but now he's going to lose all the SCVs and still maybe even still lose the third.
Hydra DPS is really good, but yeah, he'll get away with it.
That's like...
Consolation prize, though, at best.
Yeah, there you go. It's a good word for it. This drop killing the base was cool and all, but there's another one to back up with the drones anyways. And our Heart's below 100 supply. He pushed out as well. It's
GG.
Starbuck, today's notch. Oh my god.
But see, this is what I was talking about. I really want to bring attention to this. Love Hart to death, etc. But Starbuck can play that macro game. He can play the game for real. He does not rely on cheat.